Imagine it's the 1760s in England. You've just been accused of insulting the king. Not proven guilty, just accused. Soldiers drag you into a cell. Weeks passed, then months, no trial, no charges, no lawyer. And when you finally do get a trial, it's in a secret room with the king's judges, and witnesses are people you've never even seen. You're guilty before you've even opened your mouth. That's the world the framers knew. This was a system that they hated, and that's why they built the Sixth Amendment, to make sure an American accused of a crime wouldn't be steamrolled by the state. The amendment doesn't just guarantee a trial, it guarantees a fair one. And when the framers broke that down into specific rights, each one was designed to stop the government from pulling that old world England trick. Welcome to our republic.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political band,
sailors and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers. Not
Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be.
we pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial, and by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein that crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, and to be confronted with the witnesses against him, and to have compulsory processes for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. That is so long of a sentence. That sentence is so long. Anyway, let's walk through these specific rights. First one, speedy trial. The first protection, not rotting in jail while the government twiddles its thumbs. In the old days, rulers used delay itself as a punishment. Even if you were innocent, you could sit for years in misery before anyone ever heard your case. The Sixth Amendment forced the government to move. Too many delays, judges can dismiss the charges. That's the nuclear level power, because it means the state can't just punish you just by accusing you. Public trial. Next up is transparency. The trial has to be open to the public. Why? Because shady stuff happens in the dark. The British Crown had star chambers, secret courts where outcomes were rigged, tortures were hidden, and the people had no idea what was going on. Framers killed that tradition. In America, the courtroom lights are on and the people could watch. Impartial jury. No stacked decks. No government-picked buddies. A jury of regular citizens chosen from the community. This was absolutely revolutionary. Instead of elites or royals deciding your fate, it was your peers. People who looked like you, lived where you lived, and weren't beholden to the government. The framers knew juries were messy, unpredictable, and imperfect, but they were the ultimate check on government power, because once that jury sits down, not even the president can tell them how to vote. Local jury, right, in the vicinity rule. The trial has to happen where the alleged crime occurred. In England, people were dragged to faraway, hostile towns to be tried by strangers who absolutely hated them. The framers were like, nope, if you're accused, you're judged by the folks in your own community. They may not love you, but at least they know you. The right to know the charges. No more vague accusations like enemy of the crown or dangerous speech. The Sixth forces the government to spell out exactly what you're accused of. That way, you can actually prepare a defense. Imagine you're having to fight blind. That's what the British system allowed. Framers completely shut that down. Confront your witnesses. This one is the pure courtroom drama. If someone accuses you, they have to do it to your face under oath in front of a jury. No anonymous letters, no secret informants, know people who just don't flat out show up. You get to cross-examine, challenge their memory, and call out their lies. This flips the script, right? The accusers had to stand in the heat, not just whisper to the judge from the shadows. Subpoena power, right? This is the compulsory process. The government does not get to hog all the witnesses. The Sixth Amendment gives you the power to force people to testify in your defense. If someone saw you were somewhere else during that time, you can make them show up. The truth isn't optional, right? It's compulsory. The right to counsel. Here's the big one. You actually get a lawyer. Originally, this was meant you could hire one. But what if you couldn't afford it? For decades, poor Americans were left to defend themselves against trained prosecutors. But that changed with Gideon versus Wainwright in 1963. Classic Gideon, or Clarence Gideon, classic Gideon, right? This guy, a broke man accused of burglary, wrote a handwritten appeal to the Supreme Court from his prison cell. The court agreed with him, and the Sixth Amendment guarantees you not just the right to the lawyer, but to an effective lawyer, even if the state has to pay for it. That decision created the public defender system, which we still use today. Without it, a fair trial would be nothing but a sick joke to those people who couldn't afford it. The Sixth Amendment is the courtroom battlefield where ordinary citizens stand toe-to-toe with the full power of the state. Every clause in it is a weapon against abuse, speed so you aren't punished without a trial, openness so nothing is hidden, juries so people get the last word, and lawyers so you're not left fighting alone. The Sixth Amendment isn't polite, it's not tidy, it's messy, it's loud, and it's full of all that courtroom drama we see on TV. But it works. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And remember, history isn't boring, especially when the framers wrote the Sixth Amendment to make sure no American would ever face the secret trials and arbitrary justice that crushed liberty in the old English world. Thanks for listening. See you next time.